All right, guys, what's up? What's up? Hopefully, y'all can hear me. Yes, looks like my mic is on, working well. All right, cool. All right, let's get it going. So, a few things I want to kind of go over, to be honest. I'm going to go over a few trades that I took last week. We're going to go over my game plans kind of going into tomorrow, this week, what I think. And then we're going to go over some questions, news, earnings, stuff like that. And then I'm going to give y'all a promo code, for if you want to join, become a member, or if you just want to use my zone. So if you're new to watching me, um, I incorporate the zones, the Rico Cap zones. Now, the Rico Cap zones are pretty much this, where you see sellers are sitting, and I make it real easy. So, sellers, of course, you know where the sellers are at, and then you know where the buyers are at, which are indicated in, of course, red zones for sellers, buyers in the green zone. Make it real easy on the eyes. And as you can see live right now, these zones are already inputted. This is for ES futures, right? You can see where we bounced off perfectly into the buy zone, and you can see where we sold, where futures opened up and we sold off there. So that's what I implement. This is what I use for SPY and QQQ and how I'm profitable. And I mainly trade SPY and QQQ, but of course I implement this on other names as well. So first things first, what I want to go over and kind of keep it simple is TQQ. This was Friday's trade. I want to go over this. And I kind of made a video about this, but I kind of want to show you guys more about this. So again, you can see here the zones are working, right? Sellers right there, and buyers, all down here in that demand. Notice how, we touched it here that Thursday, and then of course Friday again. So Thursday we played this as well. We took this trade as we opened up, above it. We came and dipped in there, and I kind of waited to see what buyers would do. They pushed out. I ended up taking some calls right here. I think the 61 strike for the ride up to this blue line, which was my next level up there before supply, which was that 58 level. So got them around 57.22 for a ride up to 58.60. So literally about, not even a big move, to be honest. And this is the power of, having the right things. But I mean, something so simple as just that, as a few bars like that, a $1.50 move on these contracts, because this is TQQQ. So what this is a smaller kind of mirror of QQQ. It's pretty much the same thing, but small size. So you can see the contracts are a lot better, and these are for next week. So you can see contracts are a lot less juice when QQ and all that, on some lottos are priced out, six, seven, $800, right at the money or in the money, whatever it is. So I like to play this name in an alternative, or mirror to it. So I knew calls on Q would work, so I went TQ. This was Thursday, wrote it up. So from right there, this small move, even from this right here, and the cool thing about this name is, it's a small move. The contracts move a lot. So just this little move right here, contracts ran over from, I think, like 130 all the way up to like 190. So really good move in a few 15-minute bars there, and that's all we needed. All out, boom. So then I was keeping an eye on this going into Friday. I knew likely we were going to see this kind of bounce up upside, so I was keeping an eye on it. Notice right here, pre-market, this is what caught my eye. We did open up above that blue level, which was that resistance. We are opening above it, and we're going to open up above it. This is a textbook, resistance flipping support. When you are looking to see if a level is trying to get above that resistance, can it hold above it? Sure, the 15 opened up, at open, we see it open up, but this first candle, and this is why they call me the king of open, is because I'm not scared to play that first candle at open, the 15 and all that, because the very first candle to open up here is indeed every single candle, the hourly, right? All of that, 4 hour daily, everything is opening up here And so you can see right here on the hourly, and this is why I took this trade. The hourly here is actually opening up above the blue line. So I knew any type of wick down right here is going to be buying territory. I'm buying this wick on the way down, which was only, from 58.60 all the way down to 58.04. So really you're buying a 50-cent move right here, which was super easy. I slammed some next week's. I got the 62 strike, and I didn't feel like playing Lottos Friday. I didn't want to actually kind of push it that much. It was already a pretty rigorous week, so I wanted to kind of take that stress off of, the market was kind of slow. It opened to, I knew we are going to push up. It just took a while, and this was one of those things where I was like, all right, if this is going to take a while, then I'm going next week and I'm going to sit on my hands and do less, and that's exactly what happened. So I slammed those damn contracts, for $100. They went down to like 95, 94. So, I was barely red, briefly for, a minute or two, whatever. And then you can see on the 15 where, just staying patient. 15, next 15 kind of played out, didn't really do too much. And then we saw it starting to play out, and you can see it, absolutely starting to move up there. And really took kind of all morning, but from this move up right here, 9 bars on the 15-minute, $2 move, and so for us, those contracts ran, 100 from $100 all the way to 150, 160, so easily 60% on a move where we had plenty of time. Market wasn't really doing too much. We could, we're just sitting back and doing its thing. So didn't have, it was stress free. We trimmed it a little bit, put stops above buy, had the bracket on, order was safe, and then we just sat back, and then we were all in chat just kind of talking around Rico Cap. We're in the Discord, and we're all just like, bullshitting a little bit, memes and all that, just laughing, having fun, and then boom, lightning, this right here. Once it finally went, those contracts ran, and it just boom. We were waiting for that, and there you go. We capitalized, got out, and so regardless, I could have gone QQQ. Notice how it pretty much did the same thing, and this was another way I really could have won. But now if we went lottos, it would have been a little bit scarier. We would have been up, down, up, down. It would have been like, I just didn't feel like dealing with it. But the zones did say we're going up, so that's why I knew we were going up. Got to trust the zones, and that's my motto when it comes to, the Rico Cap zones. It's trust the zones, trust the zones. That's what I tell members all the time, and things like that. So that's how we stay winning over here. And so we're seeing this. Look, futures are red, and this was expected. Futures are likely going to stay red here. In fact, I don't think we're going to break out of the highs here until Wednesday. Whatever happens Wednesday, which is the Fed meeting. Whatever Powell says, whatever's going to happen. The market tends to wait for these catalysts to happen. So likely, again, we're probably not going to. Now, if we do, that's a whole different story. They're likely going to front run whatever he says. From there, you can trust it. But usually, if this was that's a kind of a more rare scenario, then what we do is just stay in range. So tomorrow, what we're going to be looking for to see if are we going to stay in this range, or are we going to actually, leak lower back into Thursday's range here. And I know I'm just kind of showing an example on ES, but really it's the same thing if we're looking at SPY and Q. So same thing. Now, this is what I'm kind of telling the team and everyone else is I can't get too bullish just yet. We do have these gaps down here. You can see that these gaps happen going into Friday. We gapped up, held, and then kept it pushing. So likely we'll come take these out. I can't get too, bullish just yet until we take those out. Bulls need to do a better job, kind of grinding things higher instead of gapping up, or else that gives bears reason to come down, take them out. So I don't like that. So for me, again, I mean, the recipe is there. Right now QQ is sitting at 486. So we're right here in this zone, 46.15. It's perfectly sitting inside this demand right here. Now this is super simple. Again, zone to zone. If we end up losing this zone, we're dropping right down to this zone. Easy. I know puts would work for a move down to there. From there, we'll see how buyers defend. But if we lose that zone again and come down, then I know we're dropping to 478, 477. So again, that's easily, $3, $4, $5 move down right there, puts will work, and that's how I keep it so simple, and that's how I kind of continuously win. I use each zone as my point of inflection to be able to take profit or set runners or just kind of do less to see what they do. So that's how I always know, to be getting out of a trade or in a trade. I'm watching the tape too, just to see if, once we approach these zones, our buyers, our orders stacked there. Is there a wall stacked there? I start looking at volume profile. You can see right here on the volume profile, a lot of orders stacked here in this demand. So they're going to try and hold this demand pretty heavily here. And you can see, right there, if they kind of get through mid zone right there and we start getting a lower, notice how these volume profiles just dump off, meaning less and less volume orders are stacked there, meaning if we get down to this level, it's going to be very hard to hold price here because there's less orders stacked there. So you can see with the gap there, it makes a lot of sense. Volume profile's low. We know we have this gap here that needs to get filled. We're just going to shoot right through it. So that's another guarantee, especially if if you take anything from me, keep an eye on QQ41 this week. If we can even get close to that, just know we're going to blow through that and run down to 478, 477 area. From there, we need to see if we're going to hold weekly kind of lows right there from Friday, Thursday. So, and then from there, that is kind of the same range from the last week highs. So I mean, we finally broke through that, held that as low. They're gonna try and hold it there, and if they can't, then we're gonna come back into that range. So pretty simple setup, guys. In fact, this is easily so simple that I expect all of y'all to be banking with the right game plans. Right? Gotta have the right game plans. Gotta know the right thing, and the right levels will change your trading. Absolutely. So also Nvidia does have that same gap down there as well. Nvidia, kind of the weaker name as well. You can see why it didn't try and break too much higher, knowing it should probably come take that gap out, and it's possible that will do Monday. So keep an eye on that, especially Nvidia under 112.87 should drop it straight down to 111 area. So it's not a huge gap, but that's still a guaranteed dollar and a half move. So keep an eye on that if that's something you're interested in. Yeah, I mean, wow. We got my thoughts on, I want to say, Apple's earnings. Really, it was Amazon that was the culprit. And it was so funny that we dumped, and then by open they ran it all the way back up, and then it knifed right back down. To be honest, this earnings season has been very strange. I needed to see how big tech was going to kind of start reacting to their earnings, because that's going to tell me a lot as far as what's going to happen the next 3 months. What's going to happen? You know, are we headed for all-time highs? Are we going to reject here? Things like that. And right now we're at a pretty big inflection point. Are we headed for all-time highs, or are we going to reject up here? And I think so. I think the thing is, Q and SPY can melt up, but I mean, if some of these names have to be with us. So we need to see what's up with Nvidia earnings. Tesla did rip, but I'm not gonna again hold Tesla to any type of standard because of Elon being kind of mingling with the administration right now, current administration. So, no surprise they double missed on earnings and ripped. We saw Amazon double beat. Guidance was kind of lackluster, and so that's why I kind of pulled back there, but then opened up higher. Strange. Google pretty much kind of gave up its move, but also, look at that. Kind of gave it all the way up and then kind of coming back. I don't know. It's hard. Things are kind of fluttering right now, and we're pretty sold off significantly on some of these names too. So it's very underwhelming right now on some of these names, and it's kind of not what I wanted to see. The market still is very unsure, and I don't really like that. I wanted them to be a little bit more sure, and I think the tariff stuff is really weighing in. We're not getting any updates on the tariff stuff. I think a lot of people were expecting some type of over the weekend deal. I don't know. Not happening for right now. It feels like we're just kind of waiting, playing musical chairs. So I'm very interested to kind of see what happens next. So game plans are definitely set. We're going to keep it very easy Monday and Tuesday. I expect us to kind of stay in range, and then Wednesday is going to be kind of fireworks. Shout out to 92 of y'all on stream right now. So before I kind of keep it going, I have a promo code for you guys. If you guys want to use the zones for Spy and Q, I do post every night game plans for Spy and Q, where above this, slam calls, below this, slam puts, and these are the same exact game plans I use. I post a chart, all that. I do all the heavy lifting. All you got to do is follow or put it on your chart, be ready. But I use these same exact game plans every day and how I bank kind of, every day. So anyways, use code STREAM if you want to sign up for the zones. Gives you access to the Discord channel, and you get access to the game plans right then and there. Get access to that if you want. Also, use code WIN if you want to become a member. Save half off on your first month. Try it out. Give it a try. If not, all good. If it's something you'll love, something that you end up loving, and it's something that you want to add to your kind of toolbox of things you have going into the market, that's awesome too. So utilize that, guys. Like I said, code WIN if you want to become a member, and use code STREAM for the zones if you just want to try that out. And I think for Stream you can save 10% forever if you use that code. So all good on that. Let me know questions, things like that. I have the chat open now. Let me know if you guys got any questions that you want me to kind of go over in this stream. But yeah, so shout out to 100 y'all night. Yeah, about 100 y'all on stream. Appreciate y'all showing up. So like I said, this week we really just had Fed meeting, and then I think we have PMI. Wait, hold on, that might have been last week. We have ISM, yeah, PMI, ISM services PMI, which is 10 a.m. Eastern time Monday. So pretty much 30 minutes after market open. Is that 30 minutes? Yeah, 30 minutes after market open. Usually if news drops after market open, it's pretty insignificant. It's going to jolt us. It's kind of like Jolt's news, where it pushes us in a move, and you should be selling the move, not buying it. So tomorrow, if it's range and we're heading into the news, likely it's going to be kind of a reversal. So we'll see going into that. And that's just from playing this over and over again. Same song and dance, guys. Eventually, if you're kind of a newer trader, eventually you're gonna catch on to this and be like, okay, this is the same thing over and over again. Let's see. But yeah, we have Fed meeting Wednesday. Unemployment claims Thursday before market open, and then nothing on Friday. And nothing on Tuesday. So pretty much the days we're going to be looking for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, these are usually the stack days throughout the week. I kind of tell my team Monday and Tuesdays are days we get our money, and then as Wednesday, Thursday kind of comes in, we need to kind of sit back a little bit. Not if it's good, if the price is good, price action is good, then we press, sure. But I mean, I'm sizing down a little bit. I'm sizing down. I'm not trying to press as heavy if the news is kind of insignificant to the market, or the market kind of shrugs it off. Whatever the case may be, it just seems like our heaviest wins are Monday and Tuesday seasonality, and you got to understand that as a trader. What are your best days? Why is that, right? I looked at my stats last year, and Thursday was my weakest day, and so I had to sit back and be like, well, why Thursday? Okay, well, Thursday is a pretty busy day. Usually that's when the heaviest news comes out pre-market. Usually the move happens that you're looking for pre-market. And if you weren't swinging into that kind of uncertainty, then, we're stuck, we're left, at open trying to fend for, our second game plan, our second, roll-up plan, our second whatever. Don't get me wrong, some Thursdays have been extremely banger where we have a gap down and we just keep pushing down, and I'm slamming puts on the way, and we're doing our thing. But again, you got to understand what are your best days, what are your worst days, and then capitalize off that. Use that data for your own self. If you're like, you know what, Mondays are my worst days, or maybe Fridays are my worst days, and sit back on those days. And I don't mean sit back, maybe, stay away from the price action, but maybe size down a little bit, and or be a little bit more choosy with your trades on that day. How about that? I think I like that a little bit better. That helps me a lot. On those certain days, I'll be like, all right, I would take this trade here, but I'm not going to. I'm actually going to sit back and I'm going to mentally see, is this something that would have worked out? Is this something that wouldn't have worked out? Was my entry good? How's it going? So I think that's another good thing as well, to be able to be very picky and choosy with it. Another good setup I'm seeing here, TSM, so chips. TSM here has a fat gap below, pretty good size here, and it is flagging. I can see that, and I'm loving this. But it looks like it's up overnight here at 183, so it's actually gapping up here more. If it opens up heavy, it's going to be sitting on top of gaps on top of gaps. So keep an eye on that as well. We're seeing tech pretty red here. Palantir's up, Tesla's up. Don't be shorting strength. If TSM's up here, strength, then let's be looking for strength on some of these names, Palantir, Tesla. If you're looking for that upside, if we're looking for the downside, then that's where we're going to be shorting, slamming puts. I think one thing a lot of traders do is they see one name, one outlier standing out, and they're like that. If the market's selling off and somehow Tesla's just ripping, they're like, oh well, Tesla's next to fall. It has to. It's got to pull back. So short it. And I don't know where that ideology comes from, but again, I'm gonna keep screaming. That is like the worst ideology, because you're gonna get squeezed. You want to go for probabilities. You want to go for things that are in your favor. And so, appreciate you guys. I'm replying to some comments. And so you want to be going for things that are going to help you out, and you want to be going for things that are in your favor as well. So, one thing I did chart Tesla Thursday night on the stream, and I wanted to show you guys kind of how things played out. So look, Tesla did play out here, and this was on my Lotto Friday watch list. I said Tesla was in this kind of broadening megaphone here, and I said if we did close here Thursday, and I was like, either we break under 277.88 and we drop right there, or we hold and we blast up and above 280, runs to 284, 288, and then possibly up to the top here, and looks like it gapped up above that 280 and ran. I didn't catch this. I did not catch this. I do like this. I mean, it did try eating at some of the gap there, and kind of a gap and go. So sometimes you got to be careful with some of these individual names. They will get to the gap and reverse. For some reason, SPY Q won't do that. They won't. But some of these individual names will do that. I've seen it, been in it. I hate it. I don't know why it does it. I can't give you an explanation. All I can tell you is watch out for that. So if it's an individual name playing the gap, you better make sure there's some weakness, market's on your side, and everything is on your side, and take that high probability chance. That's all you can do. If it reverses, then it reverses. I don't know what to tell you. It didn't even come down and touch the yellow trend line. That's how quick it turned around and completely ripped faces. Look at that. Completely ripped faces all the way up. So this right here will make you bang your head against the wall easily. If I would have shorted here in supply, notice how we did pop into supply here, and I have it red, which it should be green, but notice how we got to that fresh supply at open, and then it dumped kind of back down and started eating some of that. I probably would not have sold. I would have trimmed into the move, of course, but down here I would have been holding a little bit, maybe stops of a buy depending on how much the contracts move, and then kind of see if we ate the rest of the gap where I would sell. But the fact that it tagged it and then completely, kept running, like squeezed, not even like kind of messed around, then came back down. It just completely squeezed. Yeah, that's enough to put a hole in your wall, depending on your mental fortitude, I guess. I don't know. That'll yeah. That's enough to make me straight up just, I don't even know, do a backflip off of building. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I can't explain it. Sometimes it just reverses that gaps on some of these individual names, and That's how it goes. Spine Q will not do that. I've never seen Spine Q do that. We usually eat the full gap. And I'm not talking about pre-market stuff. I'm talking about open market stuff, open market play. So um, definitely something to be learning there. Learn from my mistakes. 130 y'all. Appreciate y'all being on stream here. We're having fun. Chat, let me know if y'all got something for me or not. I know y'all got questions. Let me know. Let me know. I know y'all got questions. Let's look. Let's look around a little bit. Let's look around a little bit. Let's look at the markets real quick. Overnights. Let's look at Hong Kong. Anything crazy? I don't really care about that. All right. Some of these heat maps on some of these sectors really doesn't mean too much. Just something to look at. Nothing too crazy. No news. Let's take a look at top volume. IWM, NVIDIA calls, some NVIDIA calls. A lot of people I saw a lot of NVIDIA calls hitting the tape, but it's been weak. SMCI news kind of made it weak. It did have a good push up there on Friday, but not too much. We got some 570 SPY calls sitting, way out the money now, and they're pretty much toast. I mean, those are what lottos for tomorrow. SPY's down $3.50 right now. I mean, yeah, there's no way. There's no way unless at open they just start slamming more. But yeah, Tesla's up. So whoever's holding these Teslas 300s, they're not doing too bad, I guess, as far as hope. HYG low volume, $78. The stock is whatever this is, too low volume for my blood, but it looks like someone hit the tape or hit the ask on that right there. Spread a little wide, probably some insider stuff going on. JetBlue, is that JetBlue? $4 a share. Don't even look at that. What are we doing there? Someone's slamming that. SpyQ, XRT, some of these random names. Doesn't really matter. Okay, not too crazy. So for also another thing that I'm on is kind of showing you guys a little bit more of how I'm trying to improve. And how I'm trying to improve is being able to kind of take a look at some of these stock option charts, chart the option, and kind of strictly play it with the stock. Now, of course, sometimes I can't tell which one. I don't know. It's just hard for me to want to turn to the option chart and trade strictly that when I'm playing the chart for some reason. I feel like there's just a lot of elements, and I'm watching the tape first because I feel like the tape is where the market is. I'm watching the tape. I'm watching, let's see if I can open it up here. I'm watching the price ladder. This is the turbo. I'm watching the price ladder, and I'm trying to see where the orders are kind of magneting on the price ladder. The price ladder is going to tell you what this is on the chart. And then the option chart is going to just represent that. So like it's one thing representing another thing, representing another thing. So that's a little confusing. What works for me is keeping it simple. So let me give y'all some of the game plans. Like I said, for anyone kind of showing up, I do have promo codes. Appreciate y'all watching. Use code STREAM at checkout if you want to save some money on the zones. And what the zones are this pretty much buyers here. Where the buyers are at, green zones. Sellers, where they're at, meaning resistance, meaning at that point get close to them, expect them to be trying to stuff it or pull down there. And then use code WIN if you want to become a member right now. Save some money at checkout. And we can bank together, guys. I'm ready to play the open tomorrow. I love it. I love playing the open. A lot of people scared. A lot of people, especially on a Monday. That's the thing. I'm coming out swinging on a Monday. 2 minutes in, slam. 2 minutes in, I'm slamming some lottos. I'm slamming one days. I'm slamming, and I love it too because there are days where I slam and members follow, and some of those contracts immediately 200%, 100%, and I'm just shocked. I mean, I've done streams. I've been doing streams for free, kind of after my morning session, and we've caught 100%. We've caught 500%, 200% just playing the zones. Just knowing once we lose a level where we're gonna drop next, and Lotto's bang. So I think that's what I like. Lotto's the best kind of midday if things are respecting zones or respecting levels. Those can really you can really run up your account, but I don't really kind of suggest that for small accounts or people that are kind of newer to trading. I think that's more, I wouldn't say veteran territory, but at least people that have the system down and know what they're doing and have that kind of systematic game plan. Also routine esque. I'm very routine esque. I've been doing this for years, so I know what times what. I can when to stay away and when to step it up. Right. I'm playing the mornings and I'm playing kind of the afternoonish near close, basically the close. I'm staying away from lunchtime. I'm staying away from, stuff like this. I'm playing, stuff like this. We're slamming the dip right there and I'm riding up to the next zone up right there. I'm playing that. Moments in the market is all we need. Then I like getting on with my day, sitting back. Of course, I'm sitting back and watching for the team, but I mean, I'm telling the team, get on with your day. Go enjoy your day. Get back to, maybe you're at work. You can focus at work now with a smile on your face, knowing you may have made double what you usually make, triple or maybe half or maybe some, whatever it is. There's always going to be a smile on the face. And I know that feeling where then the boss is like, why are you smiling? You're like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm making money, don't worry about it. And they're like, yeah, like we understand you're at work, you know? So that's what I love about, playing the open, things like that. Get on with your day. Don't be staring at the charts all day. Avoid stuff. That's where my experience comes in. I know what to avoid, what not to avoid. Cut the learning curve, things like that. So, yeah, game plans are posted for members and zone users. Again, we're looking at futures here. It's possible lowercase h pattern kind of forming here on right here on ES lowercase h pattern, if you don't know, is that, and then usually falls out really heavily. Whatever the lowercase h pattern plays out, that bottom usually falls out pretty nice, and that's why I love this pattern. Another thing too is where are we at? I was on stream. What was that? Thursday going into Friday. I drew this flag right here. This was a supply, and I said we're gonna reject this and come down back to here going into Friday because we had news Friday morning, and we did exactly that. So if you made money off that, congrats. Notice how the news came out. We pumped it all day Friday, and then now we're coming down. So again, look how we're literally right back to the same levels. This matters because it's going to be the same thing for SPY and Q. This matters. ES is just kind of playing it out fast or first, right? Because it's futures. So I'm gonna be starting a segment on the night shift here. Pretty much the night shift, the night show. I'm gonna be trading futures, and hopefully y'all can trade with me. I'll probably be doing it for free. As something as like a kind of like a thank you for showing up. Let's just make some money. And if you don't know how to trade futures, I know how to trade futures. I just haven't really done it much. And so we can kind of not learn it together because we got the zones, we know it works. But maybe like between option selection, or the ES, we're going minis, we're going, we're just gonna play with $1,000 and see how much we can really run that up, and kind of going for there. Should be. I mean, it's easy. I've done it, and to me, I just like my sleep, I guess, or like my relaxing time in the evenings. I love options more than anything else. So, but don't get me wrong. I know I can find a win in futures at any point in time as long as there's not major news like the night before or the night going into, because likely we'll just chop around. But something like this, keep an eye. If ES here loses 5667, we should drop right to 5662 and then right back to that demand down here. So another 30-point move. We'll see about that. Well, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's just sometimes I'll enter positions and then I'll just go to sleep. Put my brackets on, or I'll just put my limit, something where I know I'd hit. So like this, uh, I no stop on this, knowing we're gonna come back into this range. I put the limit somewhere around like 5,654, knowing we'd tag that. And I'm not gonna be mad once it actually tags all the way down there for the full move. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I missed out another $400, $300. It doesn't matter. I'm asleep, so I'm making money while I sleep. So that's good enough for me. I don't really care. As long as it hits, I can wake up, go to sleep. But it's sometimes my mind doesn't let me sleep. Us as traders, I know how y'all feel is once you start trading stocks or once you start trading options and you're really into this, you can't sleep at nights anymore. You can't sleep at nights anymore. You're waking up, checking your phone, you're checking things, you're seeing where things are at. It's crazy. Looks like SPY's a little bit weaker here after hours than Q. SPY's at the 563 level, 15. Oh, it looks like more volume's kind of stepping in here, and SPY is actually losing this area right here. So let's see if it can hold here and kind of dump it down. But again, 561.32. Keep an eye on that tomorrow. If we lose that, we're jumping all the way to 557, 556. So 562, 561, we lose that, we're dumping. Keep an eye on that, guys, and don't be questioning it. If we're down $5 and we're close to this gap to eat it, don't question it for a second that we can't go another $4 more down, $3 more down, whatever the case may be. So definitely stick to the levels, trust, and definitely have a good setup going into there as well. So I'm ready for that. Ready for that. Questions, let me know. Let me know. I know y'all got questions. I know y'all got something. So let's see. What's going on. As far as setups, like I said, these gaps are A1 plus. These are the ones that it's gonna pay. It's definitely gonna pay. I'm ready to go. Ready to go. Tesla again has a gap down there too. Tesla, Nvidia, SPY, and Q. Very, very easy setups there. As far as SPY and Q, they got the same amount of kind of gap number here. Meta, very good. RIP, keep it going. I like the earnings on that. I like how it's still pushing. Strong name still. Very strong. Netflix. Let's see where we're at. Netflix, I mean, earnings just, look at that. We're just ripping and ripping on Netflix. No stopping that at all. So I'm loving that big time. Loving that. MSTR has a gap too. I don't think I like the option chain on this. Yeah, it's pretty juiced. Paying 1,100 for something right at the money. I'm not trying to do that. Looks like options aren't too juiced here on SPY for the fifth. They're in the 200s. Not too bad. On some lottos, I guess. I'm so used to it being priced way better than that, but it's all good. We're gonna make do, of course. And of course TEQ does also have that gap down there. So look, if we end up losing 58, 61, we're coming right back down there because that's exactly what we played a few days ago, and we'll make money off those puts right back down, except we'll go lower this time to the bottom of that zone again. So members, be ready for that. That's an easy move right there. When I call that out, be ready. And the good thing about these, they're weeklies. So I call something out, we have all week. They're not lottos. So that's another pretty cool thing. Also TSLL. If Tesla contracts are a little too juiced for your liking, TSLL is something that is mirrored to that. For Tesla, you'll capture the same move, cheaper contracts. You can see right there. So moves a little bit, you win a lot, and I love that. Shout out to 162 of y'all on stream with me right now. Game plans are set. I'm ready to go. Like I said, news, the days you need to be worried about or concerned about, Wednesday and Thursday. Monday and Tuesday are going to be likely range. You can see how we're just kind of pushing down into this range. Ooh, look at that. knife on ES and pushing or defending that demand. Guys, remember this. If you remember anything, remember this. Wicks do the damage. The body tells the story. The candle body will tell the story. The wicks will do the damage, right? The wick will come down and try and take you out, but the body will tell the story if it's something that you're getting stopped out on, if it's things like that, confirmation, things like that. Plenty of times they try and stop me out, and I just listen to the body instead of the wick, because the wick doing the damage and it hurts. That wick where it'll squeeze against you maybe, and you're kind of sitting back a little bit and you're just like, ugh. But again, letting it work is a huge thing, as far as, letting your trade breathe. But more than likely, we got ES coming down here. ES obviously, let's take a look at SPY-X. So SPY-X is definitely going to be creating a gap here, up here. We're going to come down here. Notice how we do have a small rest of that gap from Friday right there, and then another one down there. So let's see what happens. Looked like ES did try and take out some of that gap on Friday right at open, where that wick was, and then gap and go. So it does have a few gaps, or a little bit of liquidity right there, and then a little bit right there. So very interested to see. Keep those in mind. It's very hard for me to get bullish with gaps below. That's always my motto. I'm saying that. I'm screaming that. I can't get bullish just yet with gaps lingering below. And you'll see, if news comes out or something and we just knife straight down to those gaps and eat it, you now know why we do that. It's because of that liquidity still stacked down there. So you got to be ready at all times. That's why I try and, be careful with my longs, because at any moment they could do that. Now you're kind of questioning life because you just entered long, and then all of a sudden an article comes out, or Trump says something, and we just come down and knife and eat those gaps down here. And now you're so far out the money wondering what's going on, when, you should have been kind of realizing, it's not really the news happening, it's the charts playing out, it's rejecting this, it's that, it's the reasoning before going up or down. And if we have reason to go down, got to be careful with, betting on the upside. So that's all I'm saying. Shout out to 175 y'all on stream. Appreciate it, y'all, the real ones. Like I said, I got some codes for y'all. Use code WIN if you want to become a member, save some money. Use code STREAM if you want the Regal Cap Zones. They're posted every night, game plans. They tell you where the buyers, sellers are at. They tell you if above this, I'm slamming calls. Below that, I'm slamming puts. And they pretty much help you with that. So give it a try if you want. If not, all good. Continue doing free stuff. Also, I'm going to put on a master class stream for you guys. A master class stream. For anyone that wants to show up, I'm going to just go over, option selection, what I go for. I'm going to go over things that I look for in the market. I'm going to go over kind of some setups. And then I'm going to go over, I'm going to go over one pattern that I use and how I continuously win every morning. I'm going to go over something very similar to that. So for those that join and watch it, it's going to be for free. I'm going to show you guys how you can win every single morning by one simple pattern. And from there, you'll be all right. I promise you. You won't need nothing else if you stick to that. See, that's the thing. You can show people specifically how to do it, but if they don't care for it, they're not going to use it, then all right, it's all good for the people that, care for it and want to use it. Again, another tool, in your toolbox to be able to win in all circumstances. So hopefully that will help you guys as well. I'm having fun, having a blast. So I'm ready for another week. This week should be kind of chill. Okay, earnings, right? More earnings this week. What earnings am I looking for here? Let's see. We got a big week ahead. I got some members messaging me right now saying they're ready to go. Love that. Earnings. All right. To be honest, nothing too crazy. Palantir, Monday at close. That's going to be a big one. Palantir, that's going to be a big one. Not enough to really move us like crazy, but something. We got AMD and yeah, we got AMD Tuesday. That's going to be a little something. We got Shopify Thursday morning, and we got ARM Wednesday after close. Of course, there's a lot more, but those are the bigger the second tier tech companies that we should be looking out for that won't really move SPY and Q too much, like Meta and all of them after hours, but it'll influence a little something. You know, if if some of these go red, we're not going to see. Maybe some of these other names will go red, and then it'll influence the market. But it's not going to be, oh my God, Q's down $2 because AMD missed earnings. It's not going to be nothing like that. So next big one I would say is Nvidia when that's coming up. We need to be ready for that one, and then from there we should be complete on what's going to be happening till summer trading, or for summer trading really. May there's this thing called sell May and go away, meaning we see downside in May, but there was another kind of statistic I saw that May was actually one of the strongest months after an election year. So is that something we're going to see here? I'm very interested. And we're at a very big inflection point. If we can get through where we're at right now, we're going to see all-time highs by the end of May, which is crazy. I don't believe it. I don't shoot the messenger. That's just what I saw, as far as charting goes on the charts. If we get above and stay above where we're at right now, these levels for, SPY X, ES, MNQ, SPY and QQQ, we will run to all-time highs, back to all-time highs by end of May. I was shocked. I was shook, but also in the same breath, if we reject where we're at right now, we will see new lows for the year, which is, for some reason, saying that sounds a little bit more understandable than seeing all-time highs, which is crazy because there's no reason for us. We're not seeing news, we're not seeing catalysts, we're not seeing things that make us want to believe it's all-time highs, other than people just kind of front-running and buying up the dip, for the long term. But I think right now, the tariffs, all eyes on the tariffs, what's happening with tariffs, if this starts dragging, if tariffs start dragging, then yeah, we're not going to see all-time highs and things like that. So I'm very, very curious what happens. I'm not going to give you my prediction because predicting is so stupid. And why would I predict? I'm not going to predict because I react. I don't predict, I react. I react to price action. Where are we at? Where are we going while it's happening? Got it. I stick to my levels. I'm not glued to one direction. Obviously, I'm a long-term investor and a day trader. Those are two separate things. Long-term, in my long-term port, I'm buying, holding, never selling, add. Don't look at it. I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at the 401k. I'm not looking at none of that. Add to it. Who cares? Day trading, I'm trying to get that not passive income, but I'm trying to make that daily income day trading our levels and zones like that. So then I could move that money to better assets. I make that cash daily. I turn around. I'm closing in on on a rental property here, and it finally closed. Tomorrow, paperwork signed, everything good, closed. That's where my trading profits are going. Or you can put them into your long-term portfolio, or you can start putting in things that pay you dividends and stuff like that. Or you can buy at least 100 shares of a stock and start selling premium on it, collecting that money, put it right back in the stock, or turn around and disperse the money somewhere else. Put it in a high yield savings account if you want. Start doing disperse. A millionaire once told me some really good advice, and I'm trying to remember it, but it had to do with along the lines of diversification, where I'm trying. He said it so sly too, and I'm trying to remember it. It was like it had to do with. I'm trying to think of it, but pretty much the synopsis is you spread out your money. Oh, okay. So think of your money like manure. In a pile, it's gonna smell like shit, but if you spread it out, something's gonna grow. So I think that's a beautiful kind of metaphor on what we're kind of talking about. No one's perfect. You can make some bad investments, but the good ones are always going to offset the bad ones. guaranteed. So your money's like a pile of manure. Your money's like manure in a pile. It smells like shit, but if you spread it out, something's gonna grow, and you want that to be booming, booming, booming. So can't wait for that. Questions? Let me know, guys. If not, appreciate us joining the stream here. I mean, I'm ready for tomorrow. I might hop on kind of after the morning session with my members. I'll hop on for free here and see if we can get a banger going, or just kind of give you all the updated talk on what I'm seeing, what I took, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, things like that. Again, tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm not expecting much other than range. Wednesday will be the day we either break out of this range or what's going to happen with Powell. And then Thursday, again, more news. We'll see. Friday, then Lotto Friday, not any news. We have fun with our range and things like that, Lotto Friday. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I did make a video on this TQQ I posted on the Rico Cap YouTube. The link to my YouTube is on my profile. If you just look under my bio, go take a look at that video. I mean, it's a really good, explanation of, resistance turning, support, and how I spotted this on the hourly, pattern recognition, guys, candle recognition. I saw this as a hammer, and I knew, not only this would form as a hammer before it even formed as a hammer, but what that means after it forms, what the hammer means after it forms. So that's kind of, I want you guys to slowly kind of get in that step of recognizing what's happening. And then from there, you can front run what's going to happen. Because this I entered before the hammer even started. I entered this right there. That's what I entered, that wick, knowing we opened up and then started dipping, knowing I'm buying this, that we're going to absolutely run up here and take that ride. And so that's definitely something that kind of comes with experience, to be able to kind of catch this while it's happening, while it's kind of playing out, and then to be able to educate people or members. I was trying to educate my members a little bit. I'm like, it's hammering, it's hammering. I had a few members like, oh, what do I do, Rico? What do I do? I'm like, it's hammering on the hourly. Do less. Let it. It's hammering. I had to just kept telling them it's hammering. And so you got to know those candlesticks. Hammer. Think of this like Thor's hammer. I don't know who said that. I got that in my mind long ago. Thor's hammer. It's strong. Probably one of the stronger candles for bulls. And then, Thor's hammer pushes us really good. And yeah, so reversals, keep an eye on those, spinning tops, things like that. So always look for stuff like that. Again, this is why we show up to stream. This is why we show up to practice. This is practice here, because when the Super Bowl comes on for us, when it's game time, when it's ready to play time, and you're in there, and you don't want to be charting, you don't want to be unready for things like that. So, all right, looks like we do have QQQ now getting weaker than SPY here, sitting at 484.20. So now at this demand, it did lose 46 here and drop to this demand. We are now very close to these supplies here. Likely we'll get those tomorrow. So if you're ready to play that, let's be ready and win. NVIDIA here at 113.40. So about right here, sitting at about right there. And so if we end up losing 112.87 here, especially if we open up under it, wait for a little bit of a pop, short it, and it's going to come all the way down to 111, eat this gap down here, and likely come down to the buyers down here, or at least 110, 109. That's possibly a zone. I just have those as yellow, or as blue trend lines, as normal, just trend lines. I need to see how they kind of react there, what the market kind of tells me, or price action tells me there. From there, I'll make it a zone if it's deemed a zone. Can't just be out here handing zones out left and right. They got to earn it. We got to see what the market's telling us. So yeah, gotta see. Game plans are set. Things are weak. Let's see if ES ended up losing that demand here. Oh, here we go, especially on the hourly here. And if the hourly opens up under this, then yeah, this one opens up in a while. Let's see. So see if the 15 first opened up. Looks like shorts could work, but I would be careful because the move already started. Kind of at the mid to tail end, but this should keep it going. Like I said, lowercase h pattern here. Lowercase h pattern. I love it. Doesn't get better than that. Lowercase h pattern. Cool. All right, guys. Again, I will be trading futures with you guys soon enough. Once things kind of settle down in my personal life a little bit, I got a lot going on right now, but I'll be able to do these night streams with y'all, and we'll be taking some contracts and trading futures. Just get a win and go to sleep, kind of thing. Get a win, keep it going, and then obviously give me my plans for Spy and Q the next day. Turn around and then bank at the open. That sounds like a good life to me. That sounds like a good money opportunity for me. So we'll see about that. I don't think I can make these private for y'all to be joining. So of course, we will start doing those streams for free for the futures. We'll see. Maybe if you guys want to sign up, we'll see. But I know we're gonna make some money. So let's make some money first, then we'll turn around and see what works, what doesn't work, and evaluate that. So as always, appreciate y'all showing up to stream here. Hopping off here. Let's get some rest. Sunday night. Tomorrow, new week, busy week. And so let's do this. I'm ready. So ready. Up, down, sideways. I'm ready to play whatever. As always, appreciate y'all showing up, guys. Regal Capital. Shout out to Regal Capital. That's me. Shout out to me. Just kidding. But shout out to you guys. Over 200 people on stream right now. I appreciate y'all showing up. And of course, anything you need, let me know. I'm always here to help. Like I said, codes. If you need a code, use code WIN at sign up. If you want to become a member, save some money, use code STREAM at sign up if you want the Regal Cap zones. Those are the game plans for Spy and QQ. Pretty much tells you where to take puts, where to take calls. Kind of test that out yourself. I love that. I love those game plans. That's what I use every single day. I think a lot of people are maybe shocked that I'll give the game plans, then go out and then do it, and play it. So you got to be able to do that. And I'm tweeting it out right now too for the game, for the zones, and then I'll use code WIN too as well. There we go. Tweeting it out for those that need it. Let's go. All right, guys. Hopping off stream. I appreciate y'all showing up. And as always, Regal Capital out. Appreciate it.